Hey guys, starting another show here. Hope you're all having a great weekend. All right, we got this all set up. Let's wait for a couple people to join in, and we'll start the show. Want to thank some people at the beginning here again. Thanks Rabbit Hole Handbook, Jamectomy. Want to thank Cope for allowing me to make this technologically work. Rabbit Hole Handbook and Jamectomy is Brian, Hernan, Elliot, and Cameron. Thank them for the music. Now let's just hang out. Wait for some people to join. Got everything pretty set and good. We had a good weekend. Went for a nice hike yesterday up in the Superstition Mountains. Did some grocery shopping today. And hey, Elisa, welcome. Thanks for joining. Love you, babe. And went out to eat last night at Red Lobster. That's something I used to love to do when I was a kid. And I loved it last night. Got a few people in. Gonna wait for a few more to join, and then we'll start this trivia up again. It's a fun show today, as always. And it's been a great weekend. Janelle. All right, we got Janelle, we got Elisa. So I got my Fishmans with me. We all got some tickets for the shows that are coming up in October. I got some Dead and Company tickets as well, so I pretty much got what I wanted when it came to Fish and Dead and Company tickets, so I'm excited for the upcoming concerts. All right, let's start this show up. First question this evening is, where was the first English settlement in the U.S.? Again, where was the first English settlement in the U.S.? Yeah, I'm doing the bar shows again, so that's been fun. And I've got the feed going well in front of me. Again, that first question was, what was the first English settlement in the U.S.? Just answer along on the feed there. And if anybody's willing or able to tip, it's appreciated. On Venmo, I'm Kevin-McMahon-83. All the other ways are listed around this feed. Not Massachusetts, just a little south of there. Again, what was the first English settlement in the U.S.? And I had said it's south of Massachusetts. Well done, Janelle. Again, what was the first English settlement in the U.S.? And that was Jamestown, Virginia. Next question. In what country did the Tiananmen Square protest occur? Again, in what country did the Tiananmen Square protest occur? was in history. It was a couple weeks ago, and about, maybe 30 years ago. Well done, Janelle. And again, that was, in what country did the Tiananmen Square protest occur? And the answer was and is China. Next question. Name the 3 female artists that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. Again, name the 3 female artists that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. There's quite a few males. Eric Clapton's actually in there 3 times. But what 3 female artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice? They just inducted a few new people, and 2 of them are in for their 2nd time. Not Joan Jett or Aretha Franklin, but good guesses. They're both. Aretha Franklin was the first woman to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But there are 3 women that are in there twice. One's very well known for songwriting. The other got in there as a solo artist and with her husband. And the other got in with a band and as a solo artist. Very popular 70s artists. Again, that question was, what 3 female artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice? Not Cher, another good guess. They just made a movie about one of them. Or there's probably been a couple of movies. One of her famous solo songs was, What's Love Got to Do with It? The other was in Fleetwood Mac. And the other, some people would say, is one of the best overall songwriters of all time. Tina Turner is one of them. Well done, Janelle. Stevie Nicks is another one. Well done, Janelle. And the third, again, that question was, what 3 female artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice? It's Stevie Nicks, Tina Turner, and thank you for the compliment, Janelle. And the third is Carole King. Next question. What is the most counterfeited U.S. paper currency within the U.S.? Again, what is the most counterfeited U.S. paper currency within the U.S.? This song here is Pocket Reprise by Rabbit Hole Handbook. Not the $5 bill. And this is Elliot on the keys. Again, that question was, what is the most counterfeited U.S. paper currency within the U.S.? Worldwide, it's the $100 bill. But in the US, it is a smaller bill, bigger than 5, lower than 100. Again, that was, what's the most counterfeited paper currency, US paper currency, within the US? And Janelle, well done. The most counterfeited US paper currency within the US is the $20 bill. Next question. Which US president ended prohibition? Again, which US president ended prohibition? He was the president for longer than anybody else ever was in the U.S. They changed the rules because of him. And again, that question was, which U.S. president ended prohibition? Well done, Janelle. That is correct. The U.S. president that ended prohibition was FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Next question. What is the oldest airline from the U.S. that is still in operation? Again, that is, what is the oldest airline from the U.S. that is still in operation? Well done, June. Again, that is, what is the oldest airline from the U.S. that's still in operation? Not American, but a really good guess. Of late, with the flying we've been doing, I've been flying to San Diego, and I find Frontier to be a very cheap airline. And totally worth the money. But that is not the oldest airline in the U.S. Not TWA. Welcome, Mom. Thanks for joining. Love you. Tell Dad hi. And again, that was, what is the oldest airline from the U.S. still in operation? It's not American. It's not TWA. It's got to be one of the biggest airlines. And they've built up a lot over the years buying other airlines. And again, that was, what is the oldest airline from the U.S. still in operation? The answer to that question, the oldest airline in the U.S. that's still in operation, is Delta. And the next fun question is, the brightest star in the night sky is named for what animal? Again, the brightest star in the night sky is named for what animal? Not the bear. Good guess. But it isn't the bear. It's more of a household animal. I know you got a couple of them, Janelle. And again, that question is, the brightest star in the night sky is named for what animal? This next song here is Jamectomy. Yep, Janelle, well done. The brightest star in the night sky is called Greater Dog or Dog Star. Yeah, it is called the Greater Dog or Dog Star. Next question. Who was South Africa's first black president? Again, who was South Africa's first black president? Well done, Janelle. Yep, well done, Janelle. And again, that question was, who was South Africa's first black president? And that was a man who spent many, many years locked up in South Africa. They made a movie about it. And when he got out of jail finally, thank you, Janelle. And when he got out of jail finally, he became the president. And that was Nelson Mandela. Here's a fun little question that I found. What earlier rap group was Tupac Shakur a backup dancer for? Again, what earlier rap group was Tupac Shakur a backup dancer for? He was in a very famous video for this group. Elisa got me this shirt, you know. I think pretty much every cool t-shirt I have right now was purchased for me by Elisa. And I'm very grateful. And this shirt is a Grateful Dead shirt. And again, that question was, which earlier rap group was Tupac Shakur a backup dancer for? For sure. And Tupac Shakur was a backup dancer in a very famous video, for the most famous video from this rap group. It was a funny song. I believe he talked about Burger King bathrooms. And he had a funny nose. And again, that was what earlier rap group was Tupac Shakur a backup dancer for? The lead singer, or the man known for this group, passed away in the last month or so. And again, that was what earlier rap group was Tupac Shakur a backup dancer for? He was a backup dancer in the rap video Humpty Dance, done by the Digital Underground. Next one. Which car tire manufacturer developed the tubeless tire? Now tires don't have tubes in them for a long time now, so they don't pop as often. Where bicycle tires have a tube, car tires are tubeless. Which car tire manufacturer developed the tubeless tire? Michelin's a great guess. A car tire company that's that big. I know I've seen tons of ads for them. Their first part of their name are 2 letters and then a fun last name. And again, that is which car tire manufacturer developed the tubeless tire? Well done, Janelle. And again, that was which car tire manufacturer developed the tubeless tire? Well done, Janelle. And you got yourself a good tire. BF Goodrich developed the tubeless tire. Next one. From what state was the first woman elected to national office in the U.S.? Again, from what state was the first woman elected to national office in the U.S.? Where women first got the right to vote in the U.S. was Wyoming. But from what state was the first woman elected to national office in the U.S.? Janelle, you have a place there. And again, that was from what state was the first woman elected to national office in the U.S.? Not Maine or New Hampshire. But, like I said, you do have, yeah, Janelle, well done. And again, that was from what state was the first woman elected to national office in the U.S.? Yeah, it was a woman. Her last name was Rankin. She grew up on a ranch, a really productive ranch, and went to college, was one of the first women to go to college from Montana. And when she got out of college, she worked as a secretary and assistant for a while, and they wanted her to have a family, which she did not want to do. Ended up running for office and ended up winning. And again, that question was, from what state was the first woman elected to national office in the U.S.? And that was Montana. Next question. Who wrote the books Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, and Grapes of Wrath? Again, that was, who wrote the books Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, and Grapes of Wrath? I've been watching a show called Big Sky. That's a lot to do with Montana. But that question was, who wrote the books Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, and Grapes of Wrath? Again, that was. Who wrote the books? Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, and Grapes of Wrath. Well done, Janelle. You got it. You got that one right. And quite often I blank out myself. And again, that was who wrote the books Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, and Grapes of Wrath, and that was John Steinbeck. Next one, what is America's poorest state? Based on median income, what is America's poorest state? Yup. I was just watching a documentary on a different author, Hemingway, and he really loved up north Michigan, but grew up in Oak Park, Illinois. And some of his happiest memories were traveling with his family for the summers to up north Michigan. But the question was, what is America's poorest state based on median income? Not Arkansas, but it is down there. This state is pretty much last in everything. The only thing they're number one in before this whole new vaccination thing was vaccination rate. Not Alabama, right down there though. Again, that was what is America's poorest state based on median income? Yep, well done, Janelle. Again, that question was, what's America's poorest state based on median income? The answer is Mississippi. Next one, what classic candy was named after its creator's daughter? Again, what classic candy was named after its creator's daughter? One more time, that one was, what classic candy was named after its creator's daughter? This song here is Rabbit Hole Handbook, called Pink Elephant. Great song. It is a chewy individual wrap candy, not yellow and red wrapper. It's got a black wrapper, but I do think it has yellow and red in it. Again, that was what classic candy was named after its creator's daughter. You're right, it is individually wrapped candies that are fudgy. Hey, Nan, I'm playing your music right now, not Charleston Chew. Again, that was what classic candy was named after its creator's daughter. It's great stuff, man. Thank you. The classic candy that was named after its creator's daughter is Tootsie Roll. Next question. What was the first U.S. state that had a speed limit law? This one here is Jamectomy. This is Cactus Jam number 3. Loving this stuff, Hernan. Thank you. And then after this, we're going to have a Rabbit Hole Handbook with flowers. And that question was, what was the first U.S. state that had a speed limit law? Not New York, but up there for sure. Just north of New York. That's where my dad's from. The speed limit law happened in 1901. And it was an interesting law because I think the top speed you could go was 12 or 15. And there were rules that you had to pull over if it distracted horse-drawn carriages or disrupted the horses. And again, that was, what was the first U.S. state that had a speed limit law? Just north of New York. Not New Hampshire, but right over there. More of a coastal. Not Pennsylvania. You guys are in the right neighborhood. This state is on the coast. Or at least has coast front. A lot of people that are not Vermont. A lot of people that work in New York live in this state now. Let me think of another good hint about it. Not Massachusetts. Actually, in between Massachusetts and New York. And again, that was, what was the first U.S. state that had a speed limit law? In between. Well done, Janelle. The speed limit law was instilled in 1901 in Connecticut. And it was a really interestingly written law. Yeah, you got it, Janelle. Thank you. Next question. What organization did Clara Barton found in 1881? Again, what organization did Clara Barton found in 1881? It's still around, does a lot of good work. People a lot of times donate to it. Well done, Janelle. Again, that was, what organization did Clara Barton found in 1881? And the answer to that is the Red Cross. Nope, you're right, Janelle, on the first one. The Red Cross. Next question. What popular clothing article was first introduced as waist overalls? Again, what popular... Well done, June. Well done, June. And the next question was, what popular clothing article was first introduced as waist overalls? This clothing article was patented in the San Francisco area. And what made them different in the patent work was that they had metal little rivets to hold it together where there was normally stress on these articles of clothing. And the question again was, what popular clothing article was first introduced as waist overalls? Correct, Janelle. And that was the person who got the patent. Levi Strauss got a patent. Well done, Janelle. They were... There was the inventor of it lived in Sacramento. Well done, June. Oshkosh Bagosh. Yep, jeans. Levi was a part of a dry goods family, and he had a place in San Francisco that he supplied all the people moving west. And there was a man in Sacramento that invented the jeans with the metal rivets, but he didn't have the money to get the patent. And Levi did. They went into business together, and the rest is history. And again, that question was, what popular clothing article was first introduced as waist overalls? And that was jeans, made by Levi Strauss. Next question. Under which U.S. president was the first peacetime military draft? Again, under which U.S. president was the first peacetime military draft? Glad that you worked everything out with your Facebook account, Hernan, and that all worked out. Buying those ads got sketchy, and that's no bueno. Again, that question was, which U.S. president was the first? Under which U.S. president was the first peacetime military draft in the U.S.? It took place in 1941, which is a strong hit. And that was under which U.S. president was the first peacetime military draft. Not Truman, before him. Truman was at the end of that war. It was the president that got us into that war. Again, that was under which U.S. president was the first peacetime draft in the U.S.? The answer is the same as, exactly, Janelle, well done. The same as previously. The first U.S. president with a peacetime draft in the U.S. was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Next question. Who's the only undrafted player to be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame? Just happened this year. Played for the Detroit Pistons. He was on the team where the Pistons beat the Lakers quite a while ago. And Rodman is a great guess. He was drafted in the second round by Detroit. It was after Rodman. Again, that was who's the only undrafted player to be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame? Not Iverson. Good guess. And the only undrafted player to ever be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame is a guy named Ben Wallace. Next question. Wendy's founder Dave Thomas, before he opened up Wendy's, what fast food franchise did he open restaurants for? So again, Wendy's founder Dave Thomas once opened restaurants for which fast food franchise before starting Wendy's? He did some really important marketing for that fast food franchise. He told the owner that the owner should be a part of the marketing campaign. And also, not McDonald's, but good guess. He also told the owner that they should concentrate on a particular food item instead of having all kinds of stuff. And now the place is known for that particular food item. And when you think of that franchise, you definitely think of the founder. And again, that was Wendy's founder, Dave Thomas, opened restaurants for which fast food franchise before starting Wendy's? Not Burger King. The founder of this organization is on every bucket they sell. And I ate there just a while ago, and I will tell you what, their chicken sandwich is top notch. Yes, well done, Janelle. I remember we used to get that when we would go to like swim club and stuff. Yeah, Dave Thomas told that organization that they should sell it in buckets and that the owner or founder should be a part of all their marketing. That's what they did. And KFC is who Dave Thomas started the franchise for. I love some KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Their chicken sandwich, I'm saying, might be better than the famous Popeyes. But that's just my taste buds. Next question. What was the first American colony to declare independence from England? I know that was bold. I'm telling you, that KFC chicken sandwich is top notch. Popeyes is fire. And I love Popeyes. And even the Popeyes fish sandwich, really good. I went to KFC because I thought they might have one of those soda machines where you can get like sugar-free Fanta. You should, you know. It's really good. Their spicy one. And again, what was the first American colony to declare independence from England? And all those guesses you gave earlier, it was none of those states, Janelle. Yeah, I agree, Janelle. I agree. And I remember when Chick-fil-A used to just be in malls. But yeah, I do not frequent there. And Popeyes we go to quite often. But KFC's chicken sandwich should be checked out. That was funny, Janelle. And again, that was not Virginia. Smallest state up there in New England. Smallest state, period. And that was what was the first American colony to declare independence from England? Not Delaware. But they were, I think, the first state to sign the Declaration of Independence. But they were not the first colony to declare independence. Yeah. Well done, Janelle. The first American colony to declare independence from England was Rhode Island. Next question. Who are the only 3 NFL quarterbacks that have beaten every team? Again, who are the only 3 NFL quarterbacks that have beaten every team? This year, Tom Brady could do that as well, but hasn't beaten the Patriots yet. But who are the only 3 NFL quarterbacks that have beaten every team? They're all still alive right now. They're all very well known. One just retired. One's from a family that's really well known for being good quarterbacks. And one's well known for an addiction to pills. Manning is one of them. Peyton Manning is correct. The other two, just one of them just retired from a really cool city. Peyton Manning did. Beat every team. The other one just retired from New Orleans. And the other one's known as a Green Bay Packer. Here is the first song I've played that has lyrics. Barb is one of them. This one is called Flowers by Rabbit Hole Handbook. Great guys. And the other one, the question was, who are the only 3 NFL quarterbacks that have beaten every NFL team? Peyton Manning's one, Brett Favre is one, and the other is Drew Brees. And the final question, what band has been covered by other bands the most? Again, what band has been covered by other bands the most? The second most covered grouping of songs is traditional folk. But this particular band has been covered more than any other band. I know I've seen the Grateful Dead cover them. I'm sure the number was really high how many times they've been covered. Again, that last question was, what band has been covered the most? Well done, Janelle. I want to thank y'all for hanging out. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you to everyone else who dropped in. Thanks to Rabbit Hole Handbook. Thanks to Jamectomy. Thanks to Cope. Have a great rest of your